Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Forza Drift Event Season 5, Round 1, and today is Day 2 of Round 1, so you know what time it is. It is the main event with 32 drivers going head-to-head here in Spain at Ricardo Tormo track. Definitely a technical track. Very excited, especially after looking at a full day of qualifying yesterday. Very high scores led by Playpro 1337 with a score of 94. And if you were there, we also had some other highlights like Elmo's Killer veering off the track before the 3-2-1 cones. I personally loved that, so I thought you guys might have enjoyed that as well. But yeah, anyways, also some crushing defeats. Unfortunately, a few double DNFs, like from the veteran driver, very uncharacteristic of veteran driver James Nealio, to get kicked out on day 1. Veteran driver who's made top 8s, top 5s several times over, but just goes to show this track is technical. It's very demanding for these drivers, even when they're not being chased, even when they're not chasing and they're just on the track to put down their qualifying times. However, without further ado, let's go ahead and make sure we introduce our judges for the day, round 1, and really for the rest of the season. It's going to be on the panel with me, Addict Actual, as the lead judge today for the line score.
What's going on, guys?
Good to have you back, my friend.
Absolutely.
Anything you're looking forward to in particular today?
Definitely looking at the lead drivers that doing their jobs and
Yep.
making sure they're putting down a great lead, because you cannot have a good chase without a good lead. As far as the chase drivers, try and mimic their angle, mimic their line, and stay in the pocket. I don't want to see you getting ahead of the lead car.
There you go. There you go. And of course, joined by 2 other judges who are not with me on the panel, our angle judge, Born Sideways, and our style judge, FDE, Shred It. And let's go ahead and take a quick peek at the track showcase for anyone who might just be joining us today, just to get it back into the swing of things and get some insight into exactly what we're expecting from our drivers here in Spain. So starting out, this initiation is very quick, comes at you fast, and you immediately are met with outer zone 1. Very quickly thereafter, inside clip 1, we saw yesterday, this decel zone is eating a lot of drivers. Tires up, they're swinging out wide around this corner and missing that inner clipping zone. So as Actual said, our line judge said, gonna have to see drivers hitting that inner clip on the lead. Definitely gonna want to be it's gonna be a point of contention there. We also saw a lot of drivers on this outside zone 3 going a little wide and dipping their rear tires onto the grass there. We saw a couple of DNFs due to 3 tires off there as well. A very thin part of the track there for inner clip 3, and another area where it's not necessarily a decel zone, so you don't want to lose too much speed there and cause your chase driver to have an accident, but you definitely need to manage your speed appropriately at that point, so that way you can settle in for outer zone 3 or outer zone 4 for that long sweeping corner to the end of the judge section. But I think we do indeed have drivers on the line. Let's take a quick peek at the top 32 bracket and see what we have ahead of us. It is going to be the top left of your bracket that is going to be joining us for the first convoy. It is Playpro taking on Melo. Playpro, of course, our first seed yesterday with a top score of 94. And then we have Dakim and Cade Vine. This is our 16th and 17th seeds, so right in the middle of the pack. These were the high 80 scores, middle way through 80 scores here. We also have Ranga going against NXL Wait For Me. We have CCX Bubba taking on NXL Swags as well. So a good lobby to start out the day with. We're going to be following these 8 drivers through the bracket down to just 1 driver remaining. We're going from 8 drivers down to 1 driver with that top left side of your bracket. And let's get started. Heading over to the track. We are here on the line, as you can see on the left side of your screen. Lead driver on the right-hand side, that is going to be Playpro, and driver Melo, the chase driver, is going to be directly in front of the camera car here. Let's go ahead and make sure that we are all ready to go. And I think we are for the first battle of round 1, season 5. Bit of a gap opening up early on between these two drivers. However, Melo has a bit of work cut out here. Perhaps just getting a little bit too far behind on that initiation and just unable to pull themselves forward to catch up to that pocket that Addict Actual, our lead judge, was talking about earlier. We're going to take this over to, let me see which one we should do. Let's go to Keys to Victory, just as I, take the camera car back to the main line. This isn't Utah. Utah, if anyone remembers from the last round of Season 4, there was a long trek to get back to the starting line, but thankfully Ricardo Tormo is a little bit nicer in that regard. But of course, we still have to watch Playpro do his job in the chase and see what Melo can do in the lead here. Back to the track, drivers are aligned and we are ready to go once again. Looks like Playpro is kind of setting up for a little bit of a rolling start here. Melo has his work cut out for him, as they did have a bit of a disadvantage there on that first ride. You see that rolling start there. Playpro doing good to manage his speed here, maintaining that angle. Melo with a good lead so far. Tapping that outer zone 3 pretty well. Going into this long haul OZ4, Playpro catching up to that pocket of lead driver Melo. Definitely a bit closer there through OZ4. Very apparent that lead was not as far off. Let's go ahead and take it to the judges panel and wait for the results of Playpro versus Melo. Of course, Playpro, the #1 seed yesterday, and Melo, the 32nd seed with a score of 80. That's just how good these drivers are. It looks like it is a Playpro advance. The judges already came through, but just to point out, Melo got a score of 80 yesterday in qualifying and did incredibly well against the first seed score of 94 in Playpro. Very well done, but it just goes to show, you know, when it gets to that top 32 bracket, when it gets to especially the top 16 drivers, it's very minimal amounts of difference. One minor mistake could spell the end of your competition life here. Moving on, it looks like we have a little bit of a sneak peek. It's going to be Dakim versus Cade Vine. Looks like we have Dakim in the lead and Cade Vine in the chase. Another rolling start for this chase driver. Let's see how this goes. Very good rolling start there. We don't want to see the chase driver too far ahead, but looks like he got right where he wanted to be for this initiation. Losing a little bit of speed is the chase driver there, just to try to avoid contact. Synchronized transition into OZ4. Just way too much speed lost there from chase driver Cade Vine, coming to almost an abrupt halt. Unfortunately, the camera car couldn't stop as much because it's a frickin' semi, literally. However, we do... I feel kind of bad, but I'm like, wait, he was like pretty much stopped. But that's going to be most likely a DNF there for that chase driver. Could you weigh in on that, Addict Actual?
Yeah, definitely going to be a big advantage for Dak. It looked like the chase just come in on him too hot and had to slow up real hard and couldn't get back on it.
Yeah, that's a part of the skill tree, if you will, of the chase driver is speed management, right?
I am actually getting word from one of our judges. It was a controller disconnection. Unfortunately for him, that is still going to be a
no way. An unfortunate controller disconnect. Okay, we mentioned this yesterday after we saw Elmo's killer veer into the guardrail. Drivers, make sure your batteries are charged. Make sure your controllers are plugged in.
Yeah, we don't want to see somebody lose because of something like that. But unfortunately, that's just the way it's got to be.
Kind of a classic, so it's going to happen. But anyways, here we go. Cade Vine in the lead and Dakim in the chase. As long as Dakim doesn't do anything egregiously wrong here. Major advantage for Dakim. Big slide into the pocket of lead driver Cade Vine there. Dakim pushing himself closer and closer to lead driver Cade Vine. Dakim doing an incredible job in the chase there. Definitely going to come out with a W there on an unfortunate DNF for Cade Vine. Let's take it to the judges.
Chase by Dak nonetheless. It was a good chase by Dak nonetheless.
Yeah, he was doing well to make sure that when he was anticipating the transitions, he wasn't too close. But as soon as he knew that the lead driver was going to settle in for a long slide, like of course OZ4 is the best example here, he went up right to the door. He has that speed control. He's able to control the car well enough to put it exactly where he wants to and come out with the win. All right, fighting for their right into the top 16. It is the 242. Is it Ranga or Ranga?
Ranga.
Okay, Ranga. I hear Ranga. I hear Ranga. I'm gonna say Ranga. Good to see him back in the 242 this season. His first head-to-head of season 5, and also, hey, wait for me, a new driver on a new team, NXLG. Ranga in the lead. Wait for me in the chase. Big gap opening up here for the chase driver. Perhaps, again, the initiation trying to cook the tires a little bit too much. Ranga is just so dialed in up there.
That was a beautiful lead. That was an absolutely beautiful lead from Ranga.
Yeah. Very difficult to match someone as experienced. And of course, Ranga, such a big fan of the 242 Volvo. You know he's been driving that car for a long time. His gamer tag literally has the numbers for the turbo, 242 Volvo turbo in his gamer tag. So he's familiar with this car. He has been tuning it all throughout season 4, and now coming into season 5, he's going to start out with an advantage. Just the sheer familiarity he has with the vehicle. It's going to be very difficult to take him out of this. But of course, anything can happen here in FDE. We now have, hey, wait for me in the lead. Ranga in the Volvo in the rear is going to have to practice that. Of course, the speed management to maintain the right amount of distance between transitions, especially in that very thin part of the track where OZ3 comes at you. Very fast after this long straight. And you can see the difference in techniques being displayed here. Ranga being, I believe, a controller driver that uses the rolling stick method, whereas Hey Wait For Me looks to be a bit more of a flicking stick player.
Yeah,
Ranga Ranga with just such minimal contact there at the very last moment, but doing an incredibly good job at staying in the pocket of lead driver. Hey, wait for me. But yeah, I think
I was gonna say, Ranga's chase was a really good example of what I want to see. He was staying back in the pocket instead of being in the front of the car, trying to keep real close proximity. He kept his proximity and stayed back and followed the rear tires of the lead car everywhere he went.
Yeah, not getting overzealous and trying to push himself in front of the other car out of just sheer, like, you know, desire to try and show, like, hey, judges, I can be in the door. It's not necessarily about how far ahead you are, but your just overall line and positioning relative to the lead driver. So we have Ranga with a 3-judge unanimous advance into the top 16. A very strong showing for Hey Wait For Me, but unfortunately going up against a seasoned veteran is no easy task. Very well done, though. Bubba, CCX Bubba, taking on NXL Swags here. Two names we've seen time and time again. Of course, we mentioned yesterday, and I'm sure the community knows the CCX tag. When they see it, they know they expect big things. These drivers are very practiced and ready for these events when they show up. Let's go ahead and see what Bubba can do in the lead position here and now in round one. No rubber on the floor for lead driver Bubba. Definitely getting good grip and distance on that first straightaway. And doing good with the
Corvette is a rocket ship.
Doing good with angle too. Yeah, he has the angle, but he's just so grippy. He's able to push the limits of that Corvette. Yeah. You know, it's going to come down to the drivers like we kind of mentioned yesterday. Some of these drivers are still learning how to balance their tunes with the grip and slip, if you will. Like being able to get the maximum amount of grip out of your vehicle while also being able to provide enough torque to break loose when you need to. There's a lot that goes into these tunes and these builds, and you can just see there that Corvette just has the grip advantage, pushing him further and further away from the chase driver. But now, of course, that's a double-edged sword. Will CCX Bubba be able to maintain that grip and manage his speed throughout the track to stay behind the lead driver now in NXL Swags? All right, here we go. Swags has a chance to perhaps force a mistake out of Bubba. But you can see off the line here, that's why I bring that up, how much rubber is left on the mat for lead driver Swags. Swags missing that inner clip. One unfortunate early mistake from Swags in his lead position when it's going to have to be a crystal clear W. But of course, Bubba could still oversteer and make a mistake. Definitely fighting the car here, trying to make sure he doesn't make too much contact with that lead driver, but doing such an incredible job at staying in the pocket but not making contact. Bubba putting on a showcase there, and Swags is definitely going to need a miracle here to get the judges to be on his side. We already have a Judge 1 advance. Judge 2 advance. Bubba takes it into the top 16. Swags looking good. Definitely knows the line. Obviously a little bit too much heat in the tires perhaps after that initiation, causing him to swing out wide for inner clip 1. But otherwise, a good line, good angle, and good style, but just not enough to get Bubba out of the competition. But now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick second over to the top 32 bracket as we are seeing two drivers return to the line. The top 16 for this convoy have already been decided. Playpro, Dakim, Ranga, and Bubba now fighting for their right to get into the top 8 of Round 1, Season 5. So we roll up to the line here. We see Playpro in the lead and Dakim in the chase. These two drivers, I believe Dakim was in the 90s yesterday or high 80s for qualifying, and Playpro, our first seated driver of the weekend. Very smooth from both drivers so far. Utilizing a little bit of that corner cut. Dakim trying to find his way up to the pocket. Here is another chance into OZ4, and Dakim just takes it a little bit too hot, a little bit too shallow of a line. Getting into oversteer there at the very last moments. Wow. What did you see there, Addict Actual?
At one point, it looked like Dakim straightened a little bit in his chase, but even if he hadn't have done that, when he got to come in on him real hard like that and had to slow down too much, it's just he got too far. He couldn't get it back. Yeah, that's the problem. Is, you know, if you're trying to cut the corner of a turn like that, and you come in at a sharper angle in the corner, it can cause you to try to overcorrect, or try to correct rather, that steering angle there, and just sending it too hard with too much throttle. Easy mistake to do, especially in the chase when you're trying to avoid harsh contact with the lead driver. But it is Playpro's turn to chase Dakim through the track. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how Playpro does behind Dakim now. Some big contact early on. Not too much to send Dakim out too far, but you can definitely hear that crumbled fiberglass. Now, I'm sure Playpro knows that he doesn't need to be sucked up to the door of Dakim here. He knows that the name of the game right now is all about finishing without spinning, without making an egregious mistake, without DNFing. Yeah, it looked like Dakim went 3 tires off in his lead there, and OZ4.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, we got me and another judge that say that.
Dang. 2 judges noticing Dakim in the lead, takes 3 tires off. That's an automatic DNF. An unfortunate... I mean, when you're going against the best of the weekend so far, you gotta commit. And Dakim definitely knows how to get that commitment going, but unfortunately just... It's so easy to just go a foot, a few inches at times off the track, spelling the end of Dakim's weekend there. Playpro advancing to the top 8. Up next, we have the 2-4-2 Ranga going up against CX Bubba. Both of these drivers very, very smooth, very seasoned drivers. This should be a great head-to-head.
Oh, I've been looking forward to this one. This ought to be exciting. These two definitely got a lot of seat time drifting with each other, so they know how each other drives.
All right, here we go. Both of these drivers flying out of the gate. Big contact from Bubba, sending Ranga out wide. I'm not exactly sure who to chase at this point. Ranga obviously done with the track. We're going to go ahead and keep following Bubba through the rest of the track. I'm not exactly sure what happened there. It looked like early contact, sending Ranga off the track. We'll have to wait for the judge's deliberation on that. I'm not exactly sure what happened there. We'll go ahead and wait for... We'll wait for Addict to get done with his judge's portion. Wait for that calling there. It's very awkward, especially with, of course, the brick of a semi that I'm driving to try and keep up with these extremely high-performance, highly tuned cars here. It looked like Bubba made heavy contact with Ranga. But, of course, if Ranga has a weird initiation perhaps. Maybe he initiates too late or too early. Maybe Ranga cuts on the inside of the corner and misses that outside clipping zone. Things could be ruled differently here. And we're going to go ahead and wait just for a moment. We'll come back to the starting line, but we're not going to start just yet. Okay, it looks like we actually do have word from the judges to just head off into this next part of the head-to-head. Bubba now in the lead and Ranga in the chase. See some correction there from Bubba in the lead. See how Ranga handles this outer zone 3 area. Definitely catching up to Bubba. Some sharp angle here from Ranga, kind of costing him a little bit of his momentum there through OZ4. Not able to exactly close the gap there, and perhaps a returning nudge there at the end. Very interesting head-to-head. I'm interested in seeing exactly how this is ruled. Definitely more of a traditional lead and chase on the second go of things with Bubba in the lead, but that first run where Bubba was in the chase, that contact is where our judges are going to be reviewing the footage. You know, and we were discussing before the beginning of today's main event just how difficult it is to judge some of these moments, even in real life with Formula Drift or with Drift Masters, these professional leagues that we all enjoy, kind of looking to see. With 1,000 cameras, sometimes it can still be difficult for them to see exactly what went on. It still can be a debate. But here, with just one camera angle, it can be kind of difficult to determine exactly what's going on. But it looks like our judges are going to go for a one more time. It is Ranga versus Bubba once again. Bubba perhaps counting his lucky stars that he does not get a DNF for causing such... And it looks like actually one judge number 2, was able to determine that Ranga... He thought Ranga should have gone forward, but it's, of course, 2 out of 3. One more time for Bubba and Ranga coming back to the line. So what exactly went on there, actually?
Yeah, so to give some clarification on that, basically, it looked like Bubba kind of come in a little aggressive, maybe not with the angle that he had, but Ranga looked like he was already kind of pushing a little wide, which put him on the wrong line, too. So me and another judge ended up giving it a shared fault.
Gotcha. That sounds about right. So let's actually go ahead and regroup into another convoy. We will see the one more time from Bubba and Ranga back in the following convoy. However, before we go to the commercial break, we're going to take a look at the top 32 and kind of see exactly where we are. So between Ranga and Bubba, we still have to see who comes out on top. Whoever wins that is going to meet Playpro in the top 8 to then fight for the top 4 semifinal position. But of course, they are going to be joined by the top right side of your bracket, starting with young Zagi and ending with Tro XD. We'll meet back here in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Forza Creators Guild.
Forza Creators Guild.
All right, we are back here at Ricardo Tormo in Spain in FDE Season 5, Round 1. We are gathering the drivers to get back on track and get ready for some more head-to-head action. Currently kind of dealing with a little bit of convoy business because we do have a one more time from two drivers from the previous convoy, as we did just see Bubba and Ranga get ruled a one more time. So we do have to still load into the track, but yeah, this gives us an opportunity to chat. Actual and I, of course, here on the panel with everyone who's over on YouTube. Good to see you guys. Good to see you, Mateos, Bubba Lags. I think Bubba Lags actually is the driver Bubba, so he's perhaps watching YouTube, getting ready for his next run. And good to see you there, Terra Cruz. All our drivers kind of grouping up there on YouTube. Hope you guys are having a good day so far. Ready for your runs. Definitely not too deep into the day so far. We are moving on to the second part of the bracket, but still have to do two more runs for the first part of the bracket to get down to that one driver remaining, who's going to have to verse Playpro to get into that position for the semifinals, as Playpro is waiting in the quarterfinals for either Bubba or Ranga. Any highlights of the day so far for you? Actual?
Honestly, that battle with Bubba and Ranga so far, that has been a really good battle. I've enjoyed that.
Yeah. Is Bubba I was trying to figure it out. It seems like it seems like they could be at times on a controller, but I can't really tell. It looks like it might be a hybrid controller method with flicking and rolling.
I want to say he's been a flicker until up to here recently, and then
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he just started doing a little bit more rolling.
Gotcha. That's Bubba, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Ranga, do you know about Ranga if he's on a wheel or if he's a controller player?
Honestly, I don't remember what Ranga's on.
Okay. He's incredibly smooth, but of course, you can kind of get more insight into that when you're looking at the chase, because if you're in the chase, you kind of need to utilize, left foot braking. You need to utilize a little bit of braking to kind of keep your speed managed, but also angle, right? Managing your angle quickly on a dime. Those on-the-fly corrections need to be done kind of quickly, so some drivers might resort to flicking in those situations. So it might be kind of interesting to check out those moments when Ranga's in the chase. Good to see you. Hey, Mr. Thorn Werewolf. Good to see you, bud. Glad to have you back here in Season 5. I hope you've been well. Alexander Rojas. Good to see you. Hope you guys are enjoying the day so far. We are loading into the track, as you could probably hear in the background. We will be loading in just a moment. I got to make my way up to the starting line, and then we will continue on with the head-to-heads. Of course, we could take a look at the top 32 bracket again, just to refresh everyone's memory. Bubba is on a wheel, and Ranga is on a controller. Okay, so that's coming from Crazy Yoda in the chat, formerly known as Sir Seek. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I couldn't remember it. I drift with so many of these guys all the time, I don't always remember who's on what.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough to keep track, even as someone who is commentating and looking over these drivers. I mean, you definitely have a lot more experience just being a driver who's practicing so frequently.
Oh, absolutely. Drift every day.
Yeah. I haven't even had my rig set up for a few weeks now, but I definitely miss it. I always come back to Forza, though, because I always feel bad trying to, or like if I were to miss a car, like the Durango that's in the Forza playlist right now, I really wanted that SRT. There aren't many SRTs in the game. We did see a Challenger Hellcat yesterday in qualifications. I'm not exactly sure if that driver was able to make it in the top 32, but gotta love an SRT.
Think he did.
Nah, that's okay. Okay, we are, I think, ready to get going here. We're on the line with Bubba and Ranga once again. Let's take it to the track and see how this pans out. Is a one more time from Ranga and CCX Bubba. All right. Now, this moment is what was disastrous for the previous run, but it looks like we're a bit more clean now. Bubba going off track there. We're going to continue on with Ranga in the start, but perhaps gripping up early on.
And that is so unfortunate. You hate to see that happen to a driver.
Yeah, wow. Ranga in the lead, able to finish his run. Bubba with such an uncharacteristic mistake. This is what we're talking about, everyone. You can, you can look at the bracket. You can make your guesses, your educated guesses on who might be able to take out a W, but you cannot account for situations like this. An uncommon major error from one of our veteran drivers, CCX Bubba. He's going to be looking to try and force a mistake perhaps out of Ranga. Not exactly sure how you could even do that at this point, but we'll see what happens. It is now up to Ranga to finish this chase smoothly and cleanly behind CCX Bubba.
I can guarantee one thing, Bubba's going to give it his all. He's going to throw down the best thing he can come up with.
This is going to be commitment to a 100%. Let's see if I can keep up. Oh, Ranga there, close to getting I saw Ranga going close to the edge of the track there, and I was like, there's no chance. Like, it's so late in the round.
Oh, it was so close.
But able to control the vehicle, able to keep it on the track. That's going to have to be a Ranga W with that unfortunate DNF from Bubba on the chase. Ranga with an advance into the semifinals. Bubba getting knocked out in the top 16. Just goes to show you can have all the preparation, all the tuning experience, all the knowledge in the world, but a small error can take anyone down. Isn't that right, Actual?
Absolutely. The smallest mistakes can be the worst thing that happens to you.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. You never want to see it, but that's a part of drifting.
That's the sport, baby. But here we are. Playpro and Ranga fighting for a top 4 semifinal position here. Let's go ahead and see Playpro in the lead and Ranga in the chase. Playpro going wide and missing that first inner clip. Definitely going to be docking points there on the mental calculations for the lead comparisons. Ranga doing a great job at staying on the pocket of Playpro, even when Playpro had that early miss for inner clip 1.
Definitely a solid run, definitely a solid battle. We can't wait to see the second half of it.
Yeah, I think it's going to definitely be up to Ranga to lead Playpro through the track without missing a single zone. If we see Ranga also miss that inner clip 1, it's going to be up in the air. But if Ranga's able to hit all the zones, I think that might be advantage to Ranga, which would be knocking out the #1 seed of the weekend. Here we are, Playpro in the chase and Ranga in the lead. Ranga definitely full coverage of inner clip 1. He knew what he had to do and went straight for it. Playpro trying to play catch up here, cutting 2 tires off onto the grass,
Actually,
mowing the lawn.
That was 3 or 4.
Was that 3?
I couldn't tell if it was 4, but it was definitely 3.
Oh dang! Playpro, another upset here, if you will. Ranga definitely a talented driver, but Playpro with a mistake on his lead by missing inner clip 1, and then on his chase 3 tires off into the grass, and it is an automatic Ranga advancement into the top 4.
See that right there goes to show one mistake can it can end your whole weekend.
Dude, it was heartbreaking to see such talented driver yesterday in James Nealio get that double DNF in qualies, and to come back today and see CCX Bubba, these elite drivers with these early exits. It's very interesting. Ricardo Tormo is definitely a challenging track for all skill levels. And to start out the season, round 1, with such a difficult track, is very, very interesting. But as you can see, Ranga fighting through Hey Wait For Me, CCX Bubba, and door-to-door action Playpro to find himself sitting in the top 4 now until the rest of the bracket has been decided. Now we move onward to the top right side of your bracket, starting with Young Zagi going against Official Bird. Great to see you, Sappytron. Welcome in, my friend. Welcome in. Sappytron, one of the owners of a partnered community, Horizon Street Wars, which you can find out more information at www.forzadriftevents.com. Join in the Discord. Check out all of our sponsors, all of our partners. They do incredible work and are leaders of some of the most active and fun and engaging communities that Forza Horizon and Forza in general has to offer. But
so it looks like we're moving on to Bionic, Bunghole, and Nurco. I can't say that.
Nurco. Yeah, I know you got it. You're right. Bionic,
I
Bunghole, and
started
Nurco on the line. Definitely interesting. I'm not exactly sure why, but hey, Bionic in the lead, Nurco in the chase. Nurco wasting no time. Ooh, a little bit of contact there, straightening out. Nurco just a little bit straight through there. Definitely in the pocket of Bionic. Little bit more contact there, not too much to send Bionic out wide or anything, but definitely keeping himself on the door. Nurco doing a great job in the chase. Now, as I'm sure we've all noticed here, the audio this season for round one is a little bit different. Because of the way we're operating the camera car, we cannot hear car engine sounds, so it kind of makes it possible to hear those tire and contact sounds a lot louder, a lot more prominent, so a little bit more obvious when that contact is made. You can definitely hear that contact when it is made. Through the track pretty smoothly here. Let's see how OZ4 pans out. Bionic doing a good job, very reminiscent of the chase for Nurco there. Very close head to head. A little beep beep from both drivers acknowledging a sweet run. But it's up to the judges to look at the details. The devil will always be in those details of each run, checking out the angle, the line, the transition speed, how, of course, proximity. Lots of things to consider here as our judges go ahead and find the rewinds on YouTube. Thankfully, YouTube is a bit more advanced than Twitch, as we did stream on Twitch last season. But YouTube providing that quick rewind capability. It looks like Judge 3 already coming in with their vote for Nurco to advance. Now it's up for Judge 1 and Judge 2 to submit their votes. It's a Judge 1, Judge 2 advance for Bionic Bunghole. Nurco possibly getting his hopes up there, looking at Judge 3 take his side, but it looks like it will be Bionic Bunghole making his way into the top 16, and Nurco ending his time in round 1 in the top 32. Well done to Nurco, though, for doing such a great job yesterday in qualifying and making his way into the top 32. Such a great battle here. But Bionic being able to just inch that out. It looks like we will have 2 new drivers up to the line. Not exactly sure who these drivers are at the moment. We might actually be switching drivers here. We'll take a moment to see how this gets updated. Oh, it looks like we might actually have a driver that was not able to make it today. It looks like it's a bye run. So we have CCX Young Zagi just going through the course. Of course, you do not want to see a DNF here. I'm not exactly sure how that would look in terms of the rule book. I probably should know that, but it is a buy run, so Zagi is just going to give us maximum angle going through Spain.
Absolutely send it. Get him a good practice run in.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of giving a warning signal to future battles, like, hey, you better come with your A game because this is what you got to deal with. A little bit of tires off there, but again, it's a buy run. Perhaps even able to take that information in the future. There's a young Zagi advance. Unfortunately, some drivers are unable to make it to the competition the day of. Anything can happen. I've had previous drivers have power outages or anything. Anything can prevent these drivers from making it, as we are an international competition. Connecting drivers from all around the world to compete here in the digital stage. But it looks like now we do have 2 present and ready to rock drivers. Young Zagi, of course, just then going into the top 16 with a buy run. Now we have Dirty Nay taking on Trash Uborka. Dirty Nay in the lead in the BMW and Trash Uborka in the chase. Oh, looks like that might be a quick redo. Nope, 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 nope. 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 I don't know why they're continuing to go. Yeah, they figured it out right there at turn 1. It looked like perhaps Dirty Nay, maybe they don't have horns on. It's definitely crucial. You should have your horns on. But
definitely need to hear that.
Yeah, without, we don't want to have that much of a discrepancy between the lead and chase driver's starting time. It can cause the chase driver to get going and then have to brake and get going again. So I'm going to go ahead and do a redo on that one. Here, our drivers are ready. All right, here we go. Big initiation. Ooh, that's
very important.
Yeah, I hate to see that. It makes me feel so bad. I feel like, oh, I wanna see every driver, like, because I'm so impartial. Of course, I have my favorite drivers, but I'm so impartial. I just want to see great drifting. I want to see great competition. So it breaks my heart to see a driver make an early mistake like that. It's so easy to make.
Well, that's like all these drivers. You know, all these drivers want to win because they're the best. They want to win because they earned it. Nobody wants to win because of that.
Exactly. That's another absolutely good perspective, is that when you're in a competition, you don't, sure, you'll take a buy run, but I mean, I don't know. I think there's something special about earning that. Exactly, about earning that position in a good battle. A hard-fought victory can often be just a little bit sweeter. Unfortunately,
feel so much more accomplished when you earn your victories. Absolutely.
Yeah. But we have here Trash Uborka in the lead. Unfortunately, going to have to hope for the stars to align here and have Dirty Nay chase a squirrel off track. And you can see now, Trash Uborka knows how to drive. They are a talented driver. I've seen Trash Uborka in several rounds in Season 4. He knows how to get through Spain. Some tires meeting grass. That is another DNF.
Way.
Okay. I'm very surprised, but that is exactly what we're talking about. It's not over until it's over. A double DNF for both chase drivers. We're going to take it over to the judge's decision because it's now going to be down to who had the better lead. Nope, it's actually a one more time. So, can you weigh in on why exactly it's a one more time so early on? Is there a rulebook ruling here, or?
That's actually something that's got me kind of confused because I always understood if the chases were both incomplete, you just went off the leads. Shredded himself just said OMT, and he knows the rule book better than anybody else since he made it.
Yeah, there you go. That's very true. All right. Well, it looks like it's going to be a one more time. Both drivers, unfortunately, with a DNF on their chases, is going to leave the door open once again to find themselves in the top 16. Hopefully both drivers can take a little sigh of relief knowing they still have an opportunity here. And I'm a little bit late on the throttle, Dirty Nay. But here we go. That's more like Trash Uborka, losing quite a bit of speed there through the first corner, trying to find himself back up into OZ3, and here he has found the rear fender of lead driver Dirty Nay. Now it's going to be up to OZ4 to try to see if he can find that pocket once again, and he does, settling in for a nice, decent, clean run that time for chase driver Trash Uborka. Dirty Nay just doing his job in the lead to try and pull himself through. Walk our way back over to the starting line, and we'll now see Dirty Nay in the chase and Trash Uborka in the lead. Win this one more time. Looks like Trash Uborka is making a little bit of a gap here early on. It's going to be up to Dirty Nay and try to close that gap. Here we do find him in the pocket through inner clip 2. Ooh, going to the inside. Too much grip. Too much grip.
No.
Well, okay. Very interesting there at the end. Trash Uborka possibly with 2 tires off there at the very end. We'll take it to judge the judges here. Definitely could see Dirty Nay in the chase there after inner clip 2 into that transition to the right hand side for outer zone 3. Just catching too much grip and sending himself to the inside of that corner, completely missing that inner clip, and it is a Trash Uborka advance into the top 16. Definitely going to be heartbreaking for Dirty Nay there. So close to making it out alive. That would have been a very close judgment call between both drivers. But if one driver makes a mistake that the other does not repeat, it causes a major advantage for here now Trash Uborka making the top 16. Let's take a quick peek as we do have 2 more drivers on the line. It looks like this is going to end up being M4 Chippy and Tro XD, the last top 16 for this convoy specifically. But here we are, both drivers ready to go. Casual crew, M4 Chippy taking on Tro XD. Beautiful livery there on both vehicles, really. Whoa. A little bit too hot for chase driver there. Straightening out just a little bit there, trying to fight his way backwards so that way he doesn't cause too much contact, and this is going to be a DNF for our chase driver Tro XD, perhaps trying to overcorrect there by slowing down and trying to gain speed, changing your lineup. Can cause you to have the wrong kind of where your body weight is at, right? So a too early transition, a too late transition, trying to manage your speed and overcorrecting the speed where you lose too much or gain too much can cause you to kind of shift your weight at the wrong moment and send you off the track just like that. Now, again, as we saw last time, it's not over until it's over. It's up to M4 Chippy to finish this chase run without a scratch. Definitely 2 tires off there. We'll have to ask our judges after the run. M4 Chippy and lead driver Tro just having a little bit of trouble with angle, a little bit of trouble with tires dipping off the track. We'll take it to the judges panel. This is a moment where I'm glad I'm not a judge, because these are a lot of moments, a lot of highlights, if you will, throughout these runs that the judges are going to have to consider. Of course, referencing the rule book, making sure that they have as much of a clear line of sight onto the action as possible. But it looks like that DNF from Tro XD was not met with a DNF from Chippy on his chase. So Chippy advancing into the top 16. All right, another quick peek back on over to the top 32 bracket here. We do see our drivers coming up. It should be young Zagi taking on Bionic Bunghole for a top 8 position. And then we'll see Trash Uborka and M4 Chippy being met on the line. But before we get there, of course, we do have Bionic Bunghole in the chase and young Zagi in the lead. Of course, young Zagi representing Casual Crew, and Bionic Bunghole representing Full Lock. Such a textbook run there through Outer Zone 2 from young Zagi.
Oh, absolutely. He's laying down a beautiful lead run.
Yep. Here we see Bionic Bunghole. Now, you can very easily see the difference between what would be, I believe, a rolling stick driver versus a flicking stick driver. You can see when you actually get into the pocket there, you saw Bionic Bunghole in Outer Zone 4 getting really close to the rear fender of young Zagi, but having to kind of manage that distance, manage that proximity, because he knows when he makes corrections to his angle to maintain that slide, the front end is going to wiggle just a little bit. So definitely familiar with his own technique, doing a great job there. Was Bionic Bunghole in the chase. Now, of course, it is Bionic's turn to lead Zagi through the track.
I'm excited to see Ziagi's chase. We haven't seen chase yet this weekend.
Here we go. First time young Zagi in the chase. A first time competitor, but a long time drifter here. So lots of accrued skill. But just never put on display in front of a crowd like this. We'll see if Zagi can handle his business in the chase. Yeah, that's a good run.
Battle. That's an absolutely good battle between the two of them.
That's a good run from both drivers. Now that is what we come here to see, a solid head-to-head between two high-tier drivers, leaving it a difficult job for the judges panel. Beautiful lead from both drivers and a very close proximity from both chases, but course, there can be only one victor. Wouldn't surprise me if there's a one more time here, but of course, I'm just trying to get the camera car through the track without touching anything, so I'm not really focused on the details like the judges are and like you guys are over on YouTube, which I hope you guys are enjoying that head-to-head. What an incredible showcase from our drivers there. Fighting for their top 8 position. And it looks like so far it's a young Zagi from Judge 3, a one more time from Judge 2, and a one more time from Judge 1. So young Zagi, perhaps with a small advantage there, but just not enough to send Bionic Bunghole packing. We're going to see a one more time. Now, of course, a one more time is another opportunity for good things to happen and bad things to happen. You know, a small mistake is very possible, so it's going to be a close battle here, just like the first one, I'm sure. Both drivers out of the gate at exactly the same time. Now we just got to keep up. Early contact there. But young Zagi showing his steel. That competitor's steel is worth so much in these competitions. Early contact from Bionic Bunghole. We're going to have to obviously wait for our judges to hear about what or how that's going to affect the run. But young Zagi, even with that contact, putting down an incredible lead. Yeah, so here we can chat about that at the next commercial break. I appreciate the feedback there though, and on the YouTube side of things, but this head-to-head is way too hot to get anything else going on about audio or anything like that right now. But yeah, Bionic in the lead, young Zagi in the chase. Of course, young Zagi getting some pretty firm contact from Bionic early on there. Nothing, no contact just yet. Perhaps young Zagi employing a little bit of strategy here. Yeah, such textbook run from both drivers there. A fantastic lead, fantastic chase. These drivers know exactly where they need to put the car, and they have this skill to put it there. Now that contact, that small amount of contact early on in, yep, there it is. Young Zagi 1, 2, 3. It looks like it's going to be a unanimous decision to send young Zagi out ahead into the top 8. Now, was that contact really the deciding factor here?
I think that was definitely a big part of it. It looked like Bionic Bunghole just kind of came in a little bit too hot and pushed him off the zone, which is where the next few mistakes he made came in. But by the end of it, he got it. Zagi got it back on line and was right where he needed to be. He had a beautiful chase. He was right in the pocket the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's what we like to see from drivers.
Exactly. Again, it's the competitor's steal, so that way when something goes wrong like that and you are hit off of your line, not just sending it into a wall or sending it off the track, but having the control to get back online and have that mistake be on the chase. Very, very cool showcase there from young Zagi. Let's head back over to gameplay. So again, from earlier, we do have a different situation this season where we do not hear audio from the engines. You guys will hear the tires and you will hear the fiberglass fenders being crushed if they make contact. But yeah, there should be no engine sound. It's unfortunate, but we have to work with the tools that Forza provides, and we do our best with what we got. However, Trash Uborka and M4 Chippy fighting for their top 8 position here. Trash Uborka in the lead and M4 Chippy in the chase representing CCX. Going a little bit ahead of that lead driver there is the chase. Just losing a little bit too much speed right before that outer zone 3. But fighting through it and continuing on without lead driver. I cannot believe it. Trash Uborka repeating a mistake from earlier against Dirty Nay. That OZ4 oversteer. It seems like Trash Uborka might just be fighting a little bit of too much grip, trying to make sure that his car is tuned such that he doesn't get dog walked on the straightaway for the initiation or throughout the rest of the track, that he's not losing speed and allowing the gap to be extended. Right, with all that grip, but that grip can bite you in the ass. If you're on the throttle at the wrong point, that can pull you in to the corner and cause a mistake just like that. Such a smooth run previously. Very unfortunate now, but it is up to Trash Uborka to get a clean chase at the least and hope that Chippy might have the same sort of struggle going on for his lead. Definitely see M4 Chippy very happy with being out in front, able to kind of just do his thing. It's up to Trash Uborka to close this gap now and make sure that he does his best possible run. And even with a beautiful run from both drivers, it's going to be that DNF from Trash Uborka that calls it. What do you have to say there, Actual?
That was a solid lead from M4.
Yeah,
absolutely
definitely.
beautiful, very committed. He may have missed the one interclip, but other than that, it was right where it needed to be. It was a very good job.
So really, that last second error from Trash Uborka in outer zone 4, again, super late in the run. It's hard to see it so late in the run, but yeah, that's what decided it. So it looks like now we do have Chippy coming back to the line, because it is now the quarter-final battle for a semi-final position. Young Zagi representing CCX and M4 Chippy representing CCX. Some team-on-team head-to-head here. Both of these drivers probably know each other pretty well going into round 1. As you know, the team is practicing together in the off-season to prepare for these events. You know that they have probably battled each other a few times before, but now it's on the line. It is all real here and now for CCX Zagi and M4 Chippy. Very fast off the line for both drivers. A little bit of contact there. This is not a great start for M4 Chippy. I think Chippy might have gotten a little bit too close there early on and was trying to avoid a little bit of contact by slowing down, but then just letting Zagi up there, three-wheeling it through OZ4, just take a gap that could not be closed.
Yeah, it definitely looks like Zagi's starting to get that OZ4 set. The last 2 times he's gone through it, he's had that rear tire right on the edge for the whole thing.
And that front inside tire is waving in the air too.
MRTRs are real good at that. It is a wild ride when you get them three-wheeling like that.
That's awesome. You can see just how perfectly tuned it is. You know that driver's doing that on purpose, likes the feeling of the car when it has that front wheel, inside wheel, just waving in the air. All right, M4 Chippy and young Zagi. M4 hoping that Zagi makes a mistake here. Whoa. Did not expect that. The competitor steal from young Zagi coming out right here now. There's a lot on the line. This is a top 4 position. So whatever happens, young Ziagi's got to make it work, and he does indeed. Young Zagi with some early contact there in the 3-2-1 cones, perhaps just adding to the advantage that he already has. Let's take it to the judges panel, and perhaps here from Addict Actual here on the panel, we saw that contact in the 3-2-1 cones. That's uncommon. That's uncommon. What do we make of that?
Usually in that instance, the lead driver has the right of way, so the chase driver needs to make sure that they do not obstruct the lead driver from initiating.
There you go. See, gotta love the having a judge on the panel, just getting that direct feedback for all my silly questions. But anyways, young Zagi with a major advantage there, going ahead and taking his position in the semifinals. Top 4, M4 Chippy with an incredible run through the bracket, making it to the top 8, but unfortunately just not enough to take out the king so far, young Zagi. We'll take a quick peek at the bracket before we head to commercial break. It is Ranga and Zagi waiting in the top 4 for the rest of the bracket to be decided. Zagi taking out Official Bird, Bionic Bunghole, and M4 Chippy to find his position in top 4 here in Forza Drift Event Season 5, Round 1. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Forza Creators Guild.
Forza Creators Guild.
Forza Creators Guild.
Forza Creators Guild.
Welcome back to Forza Drift Events Season 5, Round 1 at Ricardo Tormo in Spain. We are now loading into the track. We have another convoy of drivers. We'll take a peek at the top 32 bracket just to get another reminder of where we have been and where we're at. Ranga fighting through the bracket to find himself in the top 4 of Round 1. And his mirror, young Zagi, putting on an absolute clinic through the bracket and showing not just how well he knows the track, but how well his car is dialed in for Spain. Very grippy build with maximum angle. He is so smooth through the track, and through a couple of his runs, we saw some pretty heavy contact being made with young Zagi. And he was still able to maintain line. The ability for these drivers to have unexpected moments or errors take place and to recover from those is absolutely a realm of skill that is practiced and it's on display. Full display here in round 1 for young Zagi. However, we are moving on to Mountain Man Joe on the bottom left-hand side of your screen, taking on Infa Faded. We'll have NXL Shadow taking on Stars, Elfe taking on Kid Cythe, and IX Baz up against Prez JFK Senior. Now, these are going to be top 16 battles. Out of this convoy, only one driver will remain, and that driver already knows who they're going to be going up against. They know Ranga is waiting for them on the track as soon as they're done fighting their way through this bracket. However, without further ado, we have our drivers making their way up to the line now. Let's take it to the track and see who is up first. Looks like it's going to be Mountain Man Joe and Infa Faded. Getting their tires hot, enjoying a little bit of zoomies before the before the run. Looks
just like my husky running around doing circles all day.
There you go, exactly. We got YSS Infa Faded on the chase and Mountain Man Joe in the lead. Now I remember Infa Faded came in at the later part of Season 4 and I'm sure has been doing his best to practice in the off season. A little bit of a straightened situation there for Infa Faded. Fighting for angle here while trying to manage that speed as best as he can. Looking like a flicking technique player. Looks like Mountain Man Joe is either on a wheel or a rolling stick player. So a showcase of difference in technique here from both drivers. But kudos to Infa Faded there. Making an early little mistake. Of course, it's up to Mountain Man Joe not to repeat that mistake. But so far, looks like an advantage for Mountain Man Joe. But yeah, Infa Faded able to come back from that, not allow it to ruin the rest of his run. Nerves are definitely going to be high, especially when a mistake is made early on in the track. You know you've got to correct and then dial in. So here we find ourselves back on the line with Infa Faded in the lead and Mountain Man Joe in the chase. It's up to Mountain Man Joe to manage his speed and that proximity to fight into top 16. This is perhaps a difference in starting speed here. I tried to, of course, make the horn as consistent and predictable as possible. I think Mountain Man Joe just was not able to get out of the starting line fast enough, because that gap opened up before the initiation and never closed. Very interesting. I'm not exactly sure what to make of that. I know Mountain Man Joe is definitely going to be curious as to what happened there. Maybe it was an early launch from Infa Faded. We'll wait for a word from our judges as they discuss and figure out what exactly just happened. Very uncharacteristic gap there. I really didn't expect for there to be that much of a gap. Looks like it's a one more time from Judge 3. But I guess it can go either way for Infa, for Mountain Man Joe, or another one more time. Okay. Looks like Judge 1, Judge 3 go for a one more time. Actual, can you walk us through that?
Hold on. Let me concur with my other judges here to get it for sure.
Still working on exactly why that was a one more time. I think it might have come down to a bit of an early launch from Infa Faded, but we do obviously have the decision. It is an OMT. Now, we'll get word from our judges after this, but let's go ahead with the one more time. It's Mountain Man Joe back in the lead and Infa Faded back in the chase. Oh, looks like we're saying do not go yet. Okay, so we are on halt. Mountain Man Joe is on a wheel. Okay, so Ranga in the chat over on YouTube giving me the details. Mountain Man Joe on a wheel and Infa Faded definitely on a controller. Can really see the difference in driving technique there with the wiggle, that classic controller wiggle. Ooh, we do not want to...
Okay, so to get the verdict on the last one, there was definitely some big contact in the initiation in Faded's chase, and he did not run through the chicane like you should. He kind of just went straight through it all.
And now the chicane you're talking about
on the start, so that was why he got such a big jump on him on the second run.
So not, yeah, I see what you're saying here. So for the lead driver, those cones are intentional. You cannot drive.
Yeah, it's not a drag
cones.
race.
Yeah,
it is not a drag race, so we want to see close battles.
Gotcha. Okay, all right. Well, we're good to go now. A little bit of reasoning there from the judges panel that led to this one more time. Hopefully we can get a little bit more of a fair start here for both drivers, but we obviously have them on the line ready to go. So Mountain Man Joe in the lead. Faded, Infa Faded in the chase. Got to go through the chicane the right way, and there we go. Little bit of contact, very reminiscent of that first run. Mountain Man Joe doing a fantastic lead here. So smooth, man. I love seeing a wheel player drive through this course, especially through OZ4, but Infa Faded doing a great job staying on that rear fender, very planted through the majority of the course, especially through OZ4. Great proximity from him. Now, this is the situation we had last time, and it was very similar. That early contact from Infa Faded on the chase is pretty interesting to happen both times. And now we have Infa in the lead and Mountain Man Joe on the chase. I'm going to go ahead and give them a nice, long, predictable horn here, so that way Mountain Man Joe can get himself prepared for this rolling start he's obviously trying to take. Both drivers settled. Here we go. Good rolling start for Mountain Man Joe. very far off there. I don't know if that was 2 or 3, but a very solid run from both drivers there. Mountain Man Joe doing an incredible job. It just seems like Infa Faded has the extra grip to kind of walk away from this chase driver on the initial straight and create a gap that Mountain Man Joe had to fight through that whole time. Of course, this ruling here on your screen, this OMT ruling, was from the previous. And it looks like Mountain Man Joe, it is clear for our judges and clear for us here. Mountain Man Joe with a unanimous decision to head on into the top 16. Definitely going to be some details in zone coverage and the ability for... Okay, wait. So we're looking at a 3-tire situation for Infa Faded there. Is that correct, actual?
Yeah, 3 tires.
Was that an OZ4?
OZ4, yep.
OZ4, 3 tires off. This track is a longer track, and it's interesting to see that this initial technical area that these drivers have to go through, the outer clip 1, inner clip 1, and outer clip 2, or outer zone 2, excuse me. You would think that there's so many opportunities for these mistakes to happen early on, and that OZ4 would be kind of an area where drivers are kind of dialed in and they kind of just, you know, settle in for that long haul. But just with the wrong positioning, the wrong line, so easy to get 3 tires off there. Infa Faded with 3 tires off in OZ4. We did see him jump off there just a touch, but apparently it was just too much. Mountain Man Joe with the W, and we move on. NXL Shadow taking on Stars. Good rolling start technique from our chase driver there. And it looks like that's going to be a redo. Nope. Nope. No.
That is definitely good.
That's going to go ahead and be a quick redo. Hopefully both of our drivers can see that. Yep, they can. Go ahead and try not to mess up these cones on the way back through. The R32 taking a different strategy.
Oh, he didn't get the cones.
He didn't hit the cones. Just those signs. All right. All right. We start again. Shadow in the lead. Little bit of contact there, that controller wiggle causing a little bit of fender rub there. And oversteer through OZ3 for both drivers. All right. Shadow just not able to keep it through OZ3. Definitely another tight corner you got to prepare for the next inner clipping zone. Getting too much grip, perhaps in the rear, and just sending it out wide, but let's see here. Now we have the reverse, NXL Shadow in the chase and Stars in the lead. Beautiful looking cars. A good line so far from lead driver Stars. A little bit of contact there, causing him to brake just a little bit, losing a little bit of speed, but finding the panel of Stars' door in OZ4. Looking very good there at the end. A little bit of contact, but a quick correction from NXL Shadow. It looked pretty good, but obviously with that initial DNF, it might be advantage for Stars. We'll take it to the judges panel. Yeah, that's a Stars advance. Unfortunately, NXL Shadow with a DNF on his lead run just puts you at such a disadvantage. So Stars is going to go ahead and take that one and advance into the top 16. But Shadow, I believe part of the NXLG team that has several drivers this season so far in round 1, which has been great to see. A very good job, well done there for NXL Shadow. But probably looking forward to round 2 as he does find himself out of round 1. But now we have Elfe in the lead and Kid Cythe in the chase. Looks like neither driver really have a team to represent, so solo drivers here. I suppose Kid Cythe could be with Team DGen. Not too familiar with that team. Ooh, that's a far out wide go of it from Kid Cythe. Elfe kind of taking off here. Kid Cythe misjudging his entry speed, perhaps in the wrong gear even. Fighting his way through OZ3, cutting that corner quite a bit to try and find himself back into the pocket of Elfe. Elfe putting up a great lead, very smooth with it. Elfe either a rolling or a wheel player. You can see that smooth correction on his wheels. Probably a major advantage for Elfe there, but of course we've seen this happen a few times already today where a accident happens from both drivers on their lead or chase. So it's not over until it's over. But Kid Cythe with an inner clip, outer zone 1 and inner clip 1 mistake. And here we go. Elfe now in the chase. Kid Cythe struggling a little bit for angle there early on. Elfe doing a really good job of staying very close to the lead driver. That's a lead driver DNF in OZ4. That's definitely going to be an Elfe advancement into the top 16. Just a little bit of oversteer there in OZ4. We've seen that time and again. Drivers just not managing that throttle and that angle, continuation of that angle just pulling in to the inside, causing some drivers to oversteer. But Elfe with an advance in the top 16. I'm sure Kid Cythe is going to be frustrated with that one. Such a simple mistake to make, but well done to get this far in the competition. Even qualifying into the top 32 is an accomplishment for all drivers.
Elfe is on a wheel, I can confirm, and these two drivers are also both on a wheel.
Okay, well there you go. Baz,
Thank you, Yoda, from our chat.
Yeah, thank you, Yoda. I appreciate that. GG's there, Kid Cythe. GG's, Shadow. But here we have on our screen the leader of CCX, IX Baz, taking on Prez JFK Senior. Both wheel players. This should be a treat. Really good entry there from the Prez. Baz doing his thing with a clean, beautiful, smooth lineup there. Prez kind of trying to fight his way back up and straightening out his car to try to make up that gap, but sacrificing angle at times where Baz definitely did not. That was a fantastic lead from Baz. Definitely difficult to go up against someone with so much knowledge and experience in this sport. Great to watch two wheel drivers go head to head as well. Really just adds that next layer, that other layer of immersion, really, but also of just skill display. But now we have back on the line, Baz in the chase, and the president in the lead. Now Baz just needs to not make any major mistakes with how much angle these drivers are able to get on this initiation. Man, it makes me clench every time. Baz doing a good job slowing down there and avoiding too much contact with the lead driver. Looking very good from both drivers there.
Beautiful battle. Beautiful
Yeah.
battle.
Man, I gotta be honest with you. I'm very impressed with Prez JFK Senior there. Yesterday, it seemed like he might have had a little bit of problems with his build, but perhaps making the right adjustments overnight.
As I say, whatever he did to it, he's definitely smoother today than he was yesterday. It was good progress for you.
Yeah, a great showing from Prez JFK Senior, but IXX Baz, CCX IX Baz taking the advancement into the top 16. Definitely a difficult competitor to go up against for literally anyone in the competition. And Baz knows his stuff, but a great run there from Prez. Okay. And now we did see Mountain Man Joe and Stars on the judges panel, which means we are fighting now for a top 8 position. Mountain Man Joe taking on Stars and Elfe taking on IX Baz. 2 stellar head-to-heads coming up right now. Mountain Man Joe in the lead. Very smooth wheel driver. And Stars in the chase. Not exactly sure if Stars, what platform controller he's on. Early contact from... Oh, that's even a camera car hit there. Hopefully that driver's okay. We'll need more emergency services on the track. But we're going to go ahead and follow Mountain Man Joe through the rest of the track. Very unfortunate entry for Stars there. Mountain Man Joe with a great run through Spain. Man, the initiation is so difficult because you don't know how far, how much speed the lead driver is going to be able to carry, and the difference of grip, the difference in side bite, as you'd put it, right? You gotta kind of expect the unexpected, especially if you're driving against someone who you've never gone head to head against. Just not enough side grip there from Stars. But here we go. It's up to Mountain Man Joe with a clean chase to get this W. Stars, I'm getting confirmation from Yoda. Maybe our insider driver here. Telling me that Stars is on a controller, so very impressive, honestly. Any player who's able to do this kind of thing on a controller has my respect, because it is not easy.
No, it is definitely not easy.
Especially if you're a flicking technique driver. It'd be very difficult to match the style and the line of other drivers. Mountain Man Joe off the track with oversteer. I'm not exactly sure how that could have happened. I don't know if that was a slowdown from lead driver Stars or just a mistake from Mountain Man Joe, but OZ4 seems to be putting up more of a challenge than I anticipated this round. I thought by OZ4, I mean, it's just such a continuous, it's a very nice continuous circle radius, right? So it's But I mean, I guess anything can happen. No word from our judges yet. But as I remember it, so Stars had an oversteer. So both drivers DNF'd their chase runs. It's going to be down to the lead runs, I believe. Or we might just have to wait for our judges to explain here. But this is obviously going to require some review. Good to see you, Jordan. Good to see side-to-side action there in chat. What do you guys think? It's definitely a tough one to call. Now, if we're going...
Well, I think I can't spell. That's what I think when I'm looking back at what I'm sitting here typing to. We're debating on, in that last run, whether the lead kind of slowed up a little bit there, or whether it was just the chase come in too hot.
Right. Because as any driver that has gone through these competitions knows, you cannot shave a lot of speed in areas that are not designated deceleration zones. The only deceleration zone on Spain, this Ricardo Tormo track, is between outer zone 1 and inner clip 1. So as soon as you get into that initiation, you are able to get full coverage over outer clip 1. You're immediately met with a deceleration zone, which is again why we're seeing a lot of drivers kind of mismanage speed so early on, is because that deceleration zone is going to be different looking for every driver. But it's the only deceleration zone, so if you do decelerate too much in any other part of the track, it can be marked down for you. And I think that's what we're seeing right here as we have on our screen Mountain Man Joe going into the top 8 and kicking Stars out of the competition in the top 16. So actual, what exactly went down there?
That's what we come up to, is there was just a abrupt slowdown in the lead, and it choked up the chase driver, causing the chase driver to spin out when he tried to slow down.
All right, well there you go. Yeah, it was so deep into outer zone 4 where Stars started to decelerate. It definitely makes sense. Like we said, the deceleration zone, there's only one of them and it's early on. So too much deceleration, you're going to end up having the DNF on your side. So we have now 2 more drivers fighting for the top 8. It's Elfe taking on CCX Baz. Baz starting off in the chase and Elfe in the lead.
This ought to be a battle to watch.
Yes, sir. Two drivers on the wheel. Supra on Supra. Masterfully done. An incredible lead from Elfe there, and Baz perhaps with just a little bit less speed, but able to utilize his track knowledge to cut the right corners at the right time to make up that space. Very good lead from Elfe though. Now it is Baz's turn to lead Elfe through the track. And Elfe's chance to make the difference in the chase. Elfe with a bit too much angle going into OZ3, causing a gap to open up late on in the track. Ooh, that looks like it might be 3 tires off for Elfe in the chase. Trying to go down the back straight with too much speed. Trying to catch up to CCX Baz in the lead. And I think Elfe knows himself. I just dipped 3 tires off. That's going to be a DNF. We'll have to wait here. Elfe might have left too quickly. But what I saw from my eyes, of course, I'm trying to manage the camera car, get as close as possible without causing any issues.
I can't confirm. I seen the same thing.
Yeah.
I seen the same. It looked like Elfe had 3 tires off there in the end.
Yeah, and OZ4. That's happening a lot. And you know what? I think what it comes down to is that these drivers are trying to speed up before OZ4 and just getting too much momentum into the corner, causing them to swing out wide. Kind of something that you didn't really have to worry about in qualifications because you're not really trying to maintain proximity with a lead driver. Definitely some reviews from our judges here. Comp is good so far, Jordan Foe. Some very close head-to-heads, some very uncharacteristic mistakes from veteran drivers. Like earlier today, we saw with CCX Bubba, but it looks like Baz is going to advance into the top 8. Elfe with a chase DNF because of those 3 tires off in OZ4. Definitely a fantastic run from Elfe through the bracket today, but I think we do indeed have a top 4 battle on our hands now. It is Mountain Man Joe taking on IX Baz to meet 242 Ranga in the semifinals. Both drivers on a wheel. Very, very talented drivers, have been smooth all weekend long, doing an incredible job in the lead and the chase. This is going to be the most minimal of differences here. Your semi-final battle here between 2 veterans. And you can see Baz making sure that he doesn't cause any major mistakes too early. Staying just the right amount of distance away from the lead driver in that initiation. Beautiful transitions here from both drivers, and CCX Baz is absolutely glued to Mountain Man Joe's door through OZ4.
Beautiful run, boys. Beautiful run. That was nice.
Yes, sir. That was absolutely.
Always love seeing close battles like that.
You can see the experience with Baz. Now, Mountain Man Joe put up a great lead line, but Baz just knowing how to manage proximity, not just with speed, but with line. I think that's something that a lot of drivers do not appreciate or do not practice enough. Is it's not just about catching up with horsepower. It's about how you operate your vehicle through the track. It's about how you cut corners and how you make up space that can make the biggest of difference.
Oh, absolutely. I've put on good chases against people with way more horsepower than what I had, just because you take the right lines, the right angle.
Exactly.
The car in there.
Exactly. It's all about know-how and experience. We have now Mountain Man Joe in the chase and Baz in the lead. Ooh, Mountain Man Joe, 4 tires off of the track. That's a CCX Baz into the semifinals. Congratulations to Baz making it so far. I was unable to see Baz in the competition last season just because he was on the judges panel with us. But seeing him on the track, this is a community leader of Casual Crewx. Ladies and gentlemen, this driver knows the community and knows that car like the back of his hand, and just showing that experience and seat time, how much it actually affects these live competitions just with all that preparation. Baz putting on an incredible display here. Mountain Man Joe really trying to keep himself close in proximity to battle Baz through that OZ4 area, but just too much speed at the wrong angle, and you're not going to be able to get the grip you need to pull yourself into the inside. And Mountain Man Joe goes 4 tires off there. Very unfortunate. Congratulations to Mountain Man Joe for making it into the top 8 in such a highly competitive environment. Nothing to scoff at there at all, but we do have part of our top 4 final, or top 4 semifinal, already taking shape. It is indeed 242 Ranga waiting with Baz in the semifinals as young Zagi waits to know who he's going to be battling for that championship spot. Don't go anywhere. The final part of round 1, season 5 is heating up. Don't go anywhere.
Forza Creators Guild.
Forza Creators Guild.
Welcome back. This is Forza Drift Event Season 5, Round 1 in Spain, and we have been seeing some heated head-to-head battles here. Some incredible runs recently. Just took a look at a top 4 battle that took place between two major heads, Mountain Man Joe and IX Baz. IX Baz just inching out ahead of Mountain Man Joe, forcing a mistake in OZ4, and Mountain Man Joe takes the inside to try and catch up, but just ends up oversteering, and that's going to be the end of his competition life. But big accomplishment to make it into the top 8 regardless. But this up next is going to be our final convoy. We have a full convoy of drivers that's going to make out the bottom right side of your bracket, as well as young Zagi, Ranga, and Baz. So this is our last convoy of the day, but we still have plenty of head-to-heads left to see. We're going to be seeing Not Too Bad A taking on OG Fishy Lips, Awesome Pie with Get Baptized, Crazy Yoda, formerly known as Sir Seek, which I just found out last night, taking on Shake and Bake, and Lurki taking on FPS Noob. So these drivers are going to battle each other until
I gotta tell you,
the last driver stands.
Out of everybody that's still left, one I'm looking at watching is Crazy Yoda. I know what he can do, and I've seen what he can do, and I think he's going to do some great things.
You know, I got to be honest, it seems like round 1, I've been making these predictions, and I did not predict James Anelio going out during qualies. Did not predict CCX Bubba to oversteer at the last second in OZ4. There's so many situations that it's just like, it makes sense for them to continue. It makes sense. The skill, the talent, the experience, the preparation is all in a line, but the unexpected happens. The unknown unknowns take place, and it can spell the end of your competition life. But of course, you know, it's round 1, it's early in the season, so these drivers definitely have the opportunity to, you know, make the necessary adjustments going forward. But it looks like we unfortunately have an issue with Forza Horizon 5 right now. So we're unfortunately going to have to restart the game. So instead of sitting here and listening to me babble like a baby, we're going to send it to one more commercial break. And when we return, we will continue with this final convoy. Don't change the channel. You'll want to see this. It's the last convoy of round 1 after these messages.
Forza Creators Guild.
Forza Creators Guild.
All right, we're back. Season 5, Round 1. We are here in Spain waiting for the last convoy of drivers to get round up and set for the final convoy of the day here in Round 1. We're just now loading into the map. Hopefully Forza Horizon 5 behaves and works with us here. As, of course, anyone watching knows the platform we're dealing with. Everyone has probably played this game and knows that it doesn't always function well.
No, it definitely has its fair share of problems.
Yeah, but we work with it. I mean, a great example is the camera car. Of course, that's like more prevalent for me because I'm the one driving it. But last season, if y'all didn't know, we were actually using the Porsche Taycan S EV. And it was nice because there's no engine sounds and you can leave the car sounds on in the game audio and you can have those nice engine sounds while not drowning the sound out with the camera car engine. But just due to different circumstances changing, we have to use the Mercedes-Benz semi-truck. And yeah, that's a turbo diesel, right, actual?
Yeah, oh, absolutely, and it makes like 15 to 2400 horsepower.
Yeah, it is powerful, it sounds amazing, but it's loud as hell. So we cannot have the car audio, otherwise you guys would just be hearing that turbo diesel all the way through the track. So we have to turn the car sounds off, and unfortunately the semi-truck surprisingly doesn't turn or stop or accelerate like a sedan does. So it's a little bit more difficult, but I'm not really complaining. I'm ready to lose. Oh, no chance, Crazy Yoda. I know you're gonna put up a great fight, man. Good to see you shake and bake. Speaking of your competitor, I'm pretty sure it is Shake and Bake and Crazy Yoda going head to head very soon. Huh? Biased commentator, huh? No bias here. I'll do my best. No, that's what we're all here for, man. For sure. It's been an awesome day of competition so far. Lots of incredible battles. I think the highlight for me so far has been Mountain Man Joe and CCX Baz going head to head for that top 4 spot. Definitely earned by Baz, but Mountain Man Joe put up a hell of a fight.
Yeah, that was definitely an exciting battle. That's the kind of stuff that we want to see all the time.
Yeah, highlight of round 1 for sure. And I know it's just a joke, it's kind of funny, and I'm sure Elmo's Killer kind of has a laugh at it too, but watching Elmo's Killer veer off into the guardrail still pokes out in my mind, so, you know.
Never seen anything like that.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of reminds me of in Season 4, we had a driver, I think they were a part of CDF. I can't remember. I think it was Joshy Jenkins who actually did a 360 entry in their qualifying session. So that was another. It's not like, you know, it was a crazy show of any sort of like, you know, skill or crazy head-to-head, but just those funny highlights kind of brings it back to reality. Like, hey, we're here to have fun. This is a game, and we're all taking time out of our weekend to enjoy this together and put on a show for one another. So love to see those kinds of moments. But we are loaded in. We are on the track. Let's take a peek at the top 32 and where we're at. We should be seeing the bottom right side of your bracket take place, going down all the way, funneling down to one single driver that is going to be taking on young Zagi. And I gotta be honest, even if I were driving and I made it down to that top 4 spot, my boots would be shaking because young Zagi is as stiff of a competitor as you can get. But nonetheless, back to the track for our first head-to-head. Looks like it's going to be a bye run for Not Too Bad A. Not Too Bad A driving for TNBE. Another bye run. We had 2 bye runs today. Not too uncommon. Like we mentioned earlier, it's an international competition. Lots of different time zones. Lots of people
all kinds
from
of
around the
different
world.
things. All kinds of different things could happen. Family emergencies and whatnot.
Exactly. Family emergencies, your computer takes a shit, your power goes out.
Oh yeah. Internet goes out.
Internet goes out. The game crashes and won't start. A million things we've seen before, but not too bad. With a great showcase through the track, doing little spins there, enjoying his day. Let's go back to this beautiful scenic shot of the track as I make my happy way back over to the starting line. So that was Not Too Bad A with a bye run. So next up, looks like we got a Mark III Super. I think that's what that is. Up against a Firebird. Let's see who's driving these things. It is Awesome Pie in the lead and Get Baptized in the chase. Proximity for that initiation, allowing the lead driver to do what he needs to do, but Get Baptized having a bit of a time here trying to catch up, and straightening out is the lead driver, Awesome Pie. Oh, that's a DNF from the chase. What an incredibly back and forth run.
Yeah, we're gonna have a DNF on that lead too.
Really? A double DNF?
That straightened. Yeah, that big straightened. So in all reality, the chase wasn't a DNF because the run was already over.
Interesting. Okay, so yeah, because I was thinking I was thinking for a second that straighten wouldn't have. I guess it's an unchaseable, even though Get Baptized was a bit further back. It still would be considered unchaseable at that point because he's completely straight driving through a parking lot, basically in OZ3 or Inner Clip 3 rather. But fortunately, we still have the lead driver did DNF first. So Get Baptized, the round was done. The lead driver did DNF, so Get Baptized DNF technically did not even happen. So we will see Get Baptized in the lead and Awesome Pie in the chase. Looking for their spot in the top 16. Get Baptized with quite a bit more grip or maybe perhaps horsepower through the first area. Kind of wiggling his way back up to meet Get Baptized down this straight. Kind of have it. Ooh, there's a DNF from the chase driver. As long as Get Baptized can complete this run, this is where we saw him oversteer on his chase, but it looks like he's managing to keep it straight when he needs to through OZ4. That's going to be a Get Baptized W, as unfortunately Awesome Pie did DNF the lead and the chase there. Yep, judges do agree. Get Baptized advance into the top 16. Looking ahead, I'm sure, to who he's going to have to battle next. Awesome Pie with a great qualifying run. Perhaps needs a little bit more time with that tune on the car. Might be a situation where the driver's skill exceeds the tune viability. But
not too bad, and Get Baptized will be the in the next rounds versus each other.
All right, yeah. I mean, hey, let's take a look. I know Bad A got that bye run So yeah, that looks like OG Fishy Lips unfortunately couldn't make it to today's competition. That was the driver who was in that buy run. But it looks like now we're going to see...
Crazy Yoda and Shake and Bake.
Crazy Yoda, yeah. So CCX Crazy Yoda taking on GRG Shake and Bake. Okay. Gotta stay with the lead car to make sure that the lead driver does not make a DNF mistake, because it does still matter. But I don't think there's gonna be a mistake here. Yep, Crazy Yoda with a freaking amazing lead run there, but Shake and Bake with a bit of like kind of like another situation where that deceleration zone can just mess you up. Unfortunate for Shake and Bake there. He will have a chance to show what he's got in the lead position, but that deceleration zone has claimed so many lives, competition lives here this weekend. But we have seen situations like this before, where the safer driver here in this situation, Crazy Yoda, does make a chase DNF as well, which makes things interesting. But it's up to Shake and Bake to put up a great lead line here in that M3. With that deceleration zone, trying to manage your speed, match your speed, and of course the grip when you get that car sideways with the lead driver can be very, very difficult. A lot of skill, a lot of inputs and technical portions of the track are super early on. Shake and Bake doing a good job through the track so far, but Yoda knows that all he has to do is trail behind without going off track, without DNFing, and he's got the W. A great lead from GRG Shake and Bake, but unfortunately with that chase DNF, it is a Crazy Yoda W. Shake and Bake falling prey to a corner that has, again, claimed a lot of lives this weekend, but making it into the top 32 is an accomplishment. We've been repeating that all weekend, and we'll be repeating it all season, because with 50 to 60 drivers qualifying in this competition, cutting that in half and making your way to the top of the pack, or the top half of the pack, is definitely takes preparation, and it takes skill. But Crazy Yoda finding his way into the top 16, and up next we have Lurki taking on FPS Noob. Great chase run from Shunzi. Thank you. I am technically chasing drivers in this semi-truck, but I appreciate the recognition.
Definitely a challenging thing to do.
Lurki taking on FPS Noob. Lurki in the lead. See that driver getting into that launch control stance. Both the drivers look like they are on a controller using the flicking technique. Perhaps lead driver Lurki just a little bit more comfortable with that technique, looking a little bit more smooth here. But FPS Noob staying within a good amount of proximity there, putting up a good chase. It's going to be down to perhaps proximity for Lurki's chase run. Yeah, it looks like Shake and Bake. We have the previous competitor in the chat kind of explaining what went wrong there. It looks like that initiation caused him to just lose the wheel just at the wrong moment. And that was the end of it. But GG's to Shake and Bake. Another veteran driver. Good to see you, brother. unfortunate to see you go so early, as I know Shake and Bake has been in the top 16 and top 8 before, but we're here now. It is FPS Noob in the lead and Lurki in the chase. Lurki looking to push FPS Noob out of the bracket early. There's a bit of a straighten out there from the lead driver. This is definitely a Lurki advantage now, as he did not have that similar mistake on his lead, but anything could still happen. Lurki's just got to finish this out strong. No DNFs, no 3 tires off, no Elmo's killer yeets. Finish strong. Not chasing Elmo off track. That looked like a solid run from both drivers, but that straighten out after inner clip 1 to outer zone 2 is probably going to send it the way of CCX Lurki. You know that clan tag well, because it is full of talented FDE drivers who are putting in that seat time in the off season to prepare for these events, and all that practice and preparation pays off here, as another talented driver in FPS Noob takes off early, and Lurki finds his way in the top 16. Now remember, the convoy is full of all top 4 drivers. And as we make our way through this bracket, which now we are going to be seeing a top 8 battle, these 2 drivers who have made it into the top 16 are fighting for a quarter-final position here in round 1. Good rolling starts, looking good. Do have to make way for that lead driver. Hopefully that doesn't cause too many issues for lead driver in the initiation. Just a little bit of contact there after inner clip 1. Ooh, just going a little bit too far ahead there, but able to bring it back. OZ4 looking smooth, get baptized in the pocket so beautifully through OZ4, looking great. A little bit of contact through that initiation area. A little bit more after OZ2, but nothing that lead driver, not too bad, couldn't handle. And again, another example of where grip matters. This little bit of contact here and there is a lot more difficult to manage if you don't have the grip necessary to recover. If your car is just on ice, it's just slipping around, you don't have much grip to correct, those small mistakes become giant errors. But like I said, not too bad, doing a good job on the lead, but now in the chase, it's get baptized turn to lead him through the track. These guys are fast out of the gate. Lots of angle there to slow down, but get baptized, more of a perhaps an angle driver rather than a speed driver, causing a bit of contact there after OZ2 through OZ3, but get baptized locked in and focused. Bit more contact into OZ4, but get baptized is handling it. Can they keep it through the rest of the track? They can. And you know what? That's definitely going to be a lot of contact from the chase driver. Not too bad, eh? You can see how having a controller player utilizing the flicking method can cause those close proximity moments to initiate extra contact, because realistically they're trying to correct left and right with a thumbstick. So the front end of that car is going to be wiggling, kind of smacking into the side panel of get baptized there, but we'll take it to the judges panel. My apologies, we're on the keys to victory there, but oh, we have news. Apologies about that late transition, but it's get baptized. Moving forward with a Judge 1 and Judge 3 advance. Seems like maybe that extra contact, the continual contact from not too bad A, might have been just a little bit too aggressive.
Yeah,
what was that decision?
So,
yeah.
In the chase, we want to see you on the door, yes, but we don't want to see you bumping into them and constantly hitting them, and that is essentially what that was just being too aggressive.
Yeah, Judge 2 did look for a one more time, but as it is, it's best out of 3, so 2 votes wins the vote, and early contact in the track, contact basically throughout the entire run. So good proximity from not too bad, but perhaps just too aggressive. Let's take it over to the top 32 bracket because I believe we have another top 8 battle here. We're going to be seeing Crazy Yoda take on Lurki for the top 8 to then battle Get Baptized. But first, Crazy Yoda in the lead and Lurki in the chase.
Yeah, this definitely ought to be a good battle.
Yep. Man, that's such a smooth line from that lead driver.
Yeah, he's rolling sticks, switched to street tires because it made him smoother.
Whew. Yeah, that smoothness is on display right here. A little bit of contact there, but not too much. These guys know each other. That CCX clan tag means these drivers have probably battled each other in the off-season. You can see that familiarity, and you can see how comfortable they are, not just in their own car, but up against their competitor. Very, very clean line from the lead driver and great proximity and control of speed and angle from that chase driver to keep on finding that pocket throughout each, or rather after each transition. But now, without much, not any major mistakes there in that first run, we're gonna have to see how Crazy Yoda manages himself in the chase, and if Lurki can put up a good line in the lead. Whoa, that's a lot of angle. Can he correct it? That was at least 2 tires off there, but I think Crazy Yoda is going to try to fight back through the rest of the course. OZ3, he's been able to make it back to the rear panel of Lurki. Crazy Yoda here just absolutely planted now, but early on seeing some really scary inside corner snafu there. That might have been the mistake that cost him his competition life. Crazy Yoda, that deceleration zone, I'm telling you, it doesn't matter how much time and preparation you have. That deceleration zone changes how you enter into inner clip 1 and outer zone 2. Looks like a Judge 3 advance for Lurki. Looks like Judge 1 and Judge 2 are both still thinking about what they want. Judge 2 with a one more time. This comes down to Judge 1. Is it going to be a Lurki advanced or perhaps a one more time for these 2 CCX drivers? Can go either way. Of course, Crazy Yoda with an early and obvious kind of, it's a mistake that is just caused by a little bit too little speed, too much grip. Lurki with a Judge 1 and Judge 3 advance. Crazy Yoda ends his competition life here in round 1, taken out by his teammate Lurki. So Lurki all the way into the top 8 here, going now up against Get Baptized. for the semifinal position. This is your FDE Season 5 Round 1, your final quarterfinal, or rather your last quarterfinal of the competition. Get Baptized and Lurki fighting for the right to go up against young Zagi, excuse me. I am blind. We got Get Baptized in the lead and Lurki in the chase. All right, here we go. The top 4 battle. Get Baptized looking solid with his line so far, looking very comfortable up there as Lurki is hot on his heels. Just a little bit of a tire drop there into the grass. You can see him mowing the lawn just a touch. And here into OZ4, settling in for the long haul to the end of the judge section as Lurki just mimics that angle throughout the entire zone.
That was a really, really good angle mimic from Lurki in the chase. I really liked seeing that.
Yeah, you can tell that he's not trying to overtake the lead driver. He's not trying to like set himself up for failure in the transitions. He knows that, you know, sometimes all it takes to win is not making your own big mistake.
Yeah, definitely got to keep calm, keep cool head. Just remember, you're driving the track. You're not driving against somebody else.
There you go. Back with Lurki in the lead and Get Baptized in the chase. Bit of contact there in the initiation zone, but I think Lurki is going to be able to handle it. Get Baptized, trying to fight for angle, kind of slowing down just a touch here through inner clip 2 on his way to outer zone 3, cutting the track to try and find his way back up the path to meet Lurki in OZ4. Just a touch of contact there. Get Baptized battling his way through the track there and try to keep up with Lurki. Just that early slowdown causing him to open up a gap that he had to fight, claw back through the rest of the track. And we already have word, Lurki fighting his way through the bracket to find his spot in the top 4. It is now a clear semi-final head-to-heads we have coming up next. It is the 242 Ranga taking on CCX Baz and CCX Young Zagi taking on CCX Lurki. Now, you'll hear a lot of CCX because 3 out of the 4 drivers this round are from the same team. And that just goes to show you, ladies and gentlemen, that the teams who are communicating on preparation, practice times, practice competitions, this preparation is on full display in round 1 as these talented, prepared drivers meet each other in the semifinal. Now, our first semifinal head-to-head between the 242 Ranga and IX Baz.
Oh, this is getting exciting. This is getting super exciting.
Now, not only is it getting exciting, it's going to get tense, right? Because these drivers are so dialed in. We're going to have to really, I'm probably not going to be talking during this run because it's my job to make sure I have all of the footage and angle necessary for the smallest of differences to be seen. So we have the 242 Ranga in the lead and IX Baz in the chase. This is for their spot in the top 2, fighting for silver. You can see Baz really trying to make the right decisions there throughout each corner, making sure he doesn't let Ranga get away from him. While also...
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, unfortunately, he had one big mistake here in the end. He ended up shallowing up for that last zone and missed a lot of that last zone.
Yeah. It's definitely a gamble, right? Just, I mean, trying to cut the corner to try and make up that space without basically ignoring the line of the lead driver, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very interesting here. IX Baz in the lead. Ranga in the chase. Good respect from space there from Ranga, knowing that Baz likes to do a bit of a early initiation there. Ranga. There it is. Okay, he settled into it. Whew. I'm trying not to get too
really close.
Yeah, but
you
saw.
That got kind of sketchy.
Yep,
he started to get too much angle.
Yep. We saw this same exact thing. Now, it's up to you and the rest of the judges panel to decide who takes that. Whew. Very close run there. Now, we did see from Baz on his chase kind of choke up on that OZ4 corner a little bit too much, and that cost him the competition. Ranga advances into the finals, kicking Baz out in the top 4. Now, Ranga is no a stranger to podium wins in FDE, as I do remember Ranga taking several silvers last season. So Ranga, in the first round of Season 5 of Forza Drift events, finding his way through the entire bracket, through qualies, all of the different one more times to finally find his way back into silver. But, of course, it's not over just yet. Who will he be battling for the gold? Let's take another quick peek at the top 32, because we know who's up next. Young Zagi taking on Lurki. Both of these drivers taking on big names and winning their head-to-heads to meet each other in another semi-final fight for the top 2. Yagi in the lead, Lurki in the chase. That Volvo proving to be a little bit too powerful, but here we have the Mustang and the S13. That angle from Zagi is incredible. Lurski's really going to have to do some magic here. A bit of contact there from Lurki into OZ4, but not repeated. A little bit of contact isn't the end of the world. Zagi giving a little sportsmanship horn.
That was definitely a good, solid battle.
Yeah.
Zagi definitely laid down a really nice lead. I love the amount of angle that he's been throwing at the track all weekend. You can tell he is definitely very dialed for this track.
Yeah, yeah. At every zone, too. It's not just like a...
Oh, absolutely.
An OZ3 or OZ4 takeover with angle. He has angle on the initiation that almost looks like he's going to oversteer into the inside, and he just pulls it out. It's incredible how confident this driver is with this car. But of course, you expect it in a top 4 battle like this. Lurki in the lead, young Zagi in the chase. Young Young Zagi doing an incredible job in the lead position, but now his job to chase Lurki through the track. Lurki putting up a great line so far as Young Zagi finds his panel after each transition. A beautiful transition here in through inner clip 3 to OZ4. Great angle, great proximity. Young Zagi looking so dialed in. An incredible head-to-head battle there. Lurki putting up a great lead line. It's going to be not a difference of mistakes, but a difference of angle, line, and style here. Who did the better lead? CCX Zagi, Young Zagi, or CCX Lurki? It's a Young Zagi W making his way into the finals to take on 242 Ranga Lurki with an incredible showcase this weekend, finding himself in top 4. I'm not exactly sure. In fact, could you weigh in on exactly how the bronze, like the third place battle or the third place trophy goes to? Is it just based on qualification score actual?
So, yeah, I was going to say that's how FD runs it. I'm pretty sure that's how it's run here, too,
Gotcha.
Which would put Lurki in third place podium.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So, as long as that is how we operate here, I believe it is, that is going to be a Lurki bronze medal, and Young Zagi advancing to fight Ranga in the finals. Now, let's see here. Let's go back and see exactly the path that these two finals drivers took today. Over the weekend, qualifying with 90s for both drivers. Ranga on the top left side of your screen, battling against NXL Hey Wait For Me. Incredible battle and somewhat of an upset against CCX Bubba. And taking out a crowd favorite in Playpro. Playpro, the #1 seed in the competition. Ranga says that is nothing I can't handle and takes out Playpro to find himself in the finals. Young Zagi on the top right hand of your screen, taking out Official Bird, Bionic Bunghole, and M4 Chippy. And finally, CCX Lurki, his own teammate, doing him dirty just to get his way into the finals. I'm sure a CCX win is felt across the team, but it's not over. The 242 Ranga looks to claim his first gold, while Young Zagi looks to make history by winning gold, potentially in his first ever event competition. FDE, Forza Drift Events, Season 5, Round 1 at Ricardo Tormo in Spain. Both of these drivers fighting like hell through the bracket all weekend and now meeting each other here at the starting line. Young Zagi in the chase and Ranga in the lead. Now, we usually do see Zagi in the lead first. Let's see if maybe being in the chase throws him off just a little bit, or if his competitor steal will come through.
No, I tell you, I'm sitting on the edge of my seat for this battle. This is going to be exciting.
Yes, sir. Wow. Okay. My heart leapt out of my chest there in that first round, or that first corner. They slowed down so much. They lost so much speed. There was good coverage of the zone, but man, did I have to put on the brakes in the camera car. Holy cow. I was like, no chance. No chance the camera car fucks this up.
That was definitely a close one. It definitely looked like the lead driver kind of pushed him out a little bit too far, chased him out a little bit too far, and then ended up choking up the chase because he had to slow down so much to get to the zone.
Yeah, that might have been just a little bit too much speed lost from the lead driver there, but you know what? We've been saying it all weekend. Young Zagi has such an incredible amount of focus and competitor's mental to be able to handle those kinds of situations, whether it's an early tap in the initiation zone or what have you. He's been able to come back from those small snafus with such ease. Let's see him lead the 242 Ranga through Ricardo Tormo in this last part of this finals head-to-head. That incredible early angle from young Zagi. Just so smooth, such a technical part of the track, and just so smooth through there. But 242 Ranga is just on his tail, on his door. Incredible speed management through each transition, and 242 Ranga is absolutely planted on the side of Zagi. An incredible matchup here in FDE Season 5 Round 1. Whew. All right. Now, the only highlight in my head, as you know, I am trying to manage this semi-car, this semi-truck through the track behind these incredible drivers, but the only thing I can remember is that early slowdown with Ranga in the lead. Now, Zagi definitely went through that area with a bit more speed. Otherwise, both lead lines looked to be so textbook. It's a Judge 1 and Judge 2 advance. Judge 3 agrees. A unanimous gold medal for CCX Young Zagi. His first ever competition, a veteran Horizon player, a veteran drifting driver, making his way through heavy competition here in round 1 of the season, taking out Ranga in the finals. Absolutely incredible stuff.
Oh, there was some really good battles. We've seen some really amazing drivers all day. I want to thank all the drivers for all that time and effort you guys have put in to make this such good competition. It's been truly amazing. It's
been a treat. Now walk me through exactly what went into the decision for the finals. It might have been that early slowdown from Ranga, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's essentially what it went to. Otherwise, we was leaning on one more time, but just where he slowed down and choked him up so much in the chase, that ended up being why we went with Zagi. Zagi had a really amazing lead run, and that's how he was able to put on such a good chase behind him.
His young Zagi's lead runs the entire day have been so textbook. It's robotic. I remember a few times last season just using that word because it matches the circumstances so closely. Young Zagi today has been so textbook. It is robotic. You can see the time in the seat on the track, making sure the tune is dialed in. His initiations are just met with such commitment to high angle. It's a beautiful thing to watch. I know Ranga is going to be happy with this second place finish, perhaps a little disappointed he couldn't edge out that lead to take out such a king, but young Zagi reigns supreme with the crown. Gold for young Zagi, silver for the 242 Ranga, and bronze for CCX Lurki. Let's go ahead and take another peek at the top 32 as we are going to be slowing down from that exciting moment where Zagi, I think Zagi might be surprised himself. His first competition is very rare for a first-time competitor to make it through such a difficult competition, but you see on the bottom of your screen, first place to young Zagi, second place for Ranga, and third place to Lurki. And just to point out, that is 2 out of 3 finalists fighting for CCX. Very cool.
A message from the Government of Canada.
This is our Canadian judge, born sideways, coming in with special messages.
That was perfect timing for the message there.
All right, so
What a round.
walk me through that finals.
Oh yeah, literally what Addict to say. Like, we definitely saw that when Ranger had that initiation. The initiation was nice. The other one was definitely nice, and obviously Zagi being so glued to the door, and basically Ranger had a way too deep of a dive, kind of like nose dive, and he was like all over the rumbles, kind of like facing towards out of the track, which is not really what you're supposed to do. You're kind of supposed to go deep on the inner clip there, but obviously kind of sway wide right after that. So he kind of stayed there too long, so he didn't give any room for Zagi to actually chase properly there because he was choking it off. So obviously that's a big mistake from the lead car, and therefore we couldn't really blame Zagi for that mistake being too close. So therefore that was kind of the main factor there. We were all kind of going towards like one more time, but then again that's way too big of a mistake as a lead car, especially in a final battle. So yeah, Zagi felt deserved. His lead was absolute perfection. There wasn't a zero issues, nada. It was beautiful.
Yeah, incredible.
The start to the finish, so absolutely well deserved. And obviously I don't think Ranger is going to be mad at taking the second place on the round one, especially on a track like this. This is a big challenge for everybody.
Yeah, it really was. The track is not just challenging, not just technical, but also it's a bit longer of a track, right? I'm not sure what the average length of the like quality times were, but it's definitely a long haul, especially when you get back to that outer zone 4, and you know you've already been swinging things around there earlier on in the track, and you know might be a little bit tired. So you know, especially for our wheel drivers. And actually, could we highlight that? Young Zagi, Ranga, and Lurki. Which drivers are wheel drivers and which drivers are controller players?
All of them are controller drivers.
All? You're kidding me.
Yes.
Young Zagi.
Yeah, they are all controller drivers. Like I was saying, there's
So young Zagi is just a rolling stick player. I think I remember Born Sideways mentioning a little bit earlier that young Zagi is one of the original rolling stick players.
No, I don't even know if I know him, to be honest. He just shocked the hell out of me yesterday in qualifying.
I've run with him
before. I constantly thought he was going to
smooth.
spin, but he just keeps it sideways. It's crazy.
I've never played with him.
Just had a mic cut off, so sorry for that.
No, you're okay. You're okay.
I just saw my mic light go like absolutely dim. I was like, oh, okay, ran out of battery.
No worries. But yeah, I mean, I have never seen young Zagi around. I'm not familiar with his game, but I guarantee you now he's going to be one to beat for the rest of the season.
Yes, sir.
Man, I tell you, I've drifted with him a little bit, but that shocked me even. I didn't even know that he had that much in him. Like, that was so good, so textbook, so perfect
you know,
for him.
One thing that I noticed time and time again is like, and during commercial break, Addict Actual and I were kind of discussing this too, is the ability for when errors take place, especially on the hands of your opponent, like say you're a chase driver and your lead driver does something out of the ordinary, the ability that young Zagi has to take those situations on and come out of them on top gracefully is incredible. The error correction and the like competitor's mental that he has been a highlight for me this entire round.
Oh man, he can, like, I had a hard time finding any corrections in any of his runs. It was wild.
It was rock solid, so very stable, very consistent, and that's usually what gets you the win.
Yep.
I can't believe he's a controller player as well. I could have sworn he was on the wheel.
Actually, when I judged him yesterday,
saying,
I thought he was on wheel. So
yeah.
But yeah, back to what I was saying before my mic got off. So basically, there is Zagi is definitely part of the what I call like group of roller gods basically. So there's a certain amount of people that just are on a different level. You know, you've been doing it for so long, you know how to be smooth. You don't really need to. Yeah, you just roll the stick. You don't really do left and right. You just perfect like it's a very good talent to have, but it's also like it requires you to trust your car. Like even when you feel like it's gonna over rotate or maybe even understeer, you can't default back to going like flickety flick, like left to right, left to right.
Right.
You just have to kind of use all throttle. It's technically the same as when you're driving on a wheel. Like you don't steer the car with your wheel. You steer the car with your throttle when you're drifting. So that's the same thing. It's all about the trust. So Zagi definitely has the trust in the car and in himself. Like he can drive, he can just hold the sticks there and just go forward, and that's why he's smooth, he's fast, and therefore more so stable.
And that speed and that smoothness is not at the sacrifice for angle. We repeatedly saw him at 90 degrees during his initiation. I swear there were so many times in the initiation and in Outer Zone 4 where I could have sworn he was about to oversteer, but there wasn't even a correction. He just is so confident that he can put the car where he wants to, and I assume it's the amount of time he's spent tuning the car that he just trusts the car and is so confident in it.
Yeah, for sure. And like a lot of people obviously don't necessarily know that, even our competitors, but you have to keep in mind, like when you see drivers like that who can hold that angle consistently no matter what the track is, you have to think about the fact that like if you compare a car, like an actual drift car, we don't really drive those, because like the difference between the normal cars we used to build for obviously the competitive spec here is that we don't have angle kits at all. So the point is like we're basically driving 1,000 horsepower monsters with cut knuckle suspension systems. So the angle we get on the steering is about 45 degrees on average. It varies a bit depending on the car, but it's 45 degrees average. And if you think about it, like if you compare it to real life, they run 70 degrees of turning angle.
Wow.
That's a lot less.
Major difference.
Yeah, it's 25 degrees less, so it's like 1/3 less what we have, and we can still we have drivers, we have cars that can still hold that same angle everywhere, which is crazy. So that's just like a kind of good thing to point out, which like it means that it actually takes a lot of skill, like being stable like that and being able to hold that angle. It's not easy, because that's why the cars look like they're over rotating even though they're not. So it's just a lot of trust in just steering the car away, throttle control and clutch. That's what it all comes down to. So
absolutely incredible from young Zagi this whole weekend. And of course the 242 Ranga really putting up an amazing battle there in the finals, and Lurki not too far behind. Even IX Baz kind of just barely. That's this thing that I love about this final convoy, is when you get down to these top 4 drivers, the battles are just so close. It's incredible to watch. We hope everyone on YouTube has enjoyed the weekend, all the fans, all of the drivers that are still with us even now. We obviously put all of this on for you. We're obviously very excited for the entire rest of the season, as this is just the beginning. This is round 1 at Spain, and with a new panel of judges and a new addition to the commentators table. It has been an absolute blast. And obviously, for anyone watching, check out www.forzadriftevents.com. You can see what the future tracks are going to be. Obviously, we know it's going to be Oman International for round 2. So get your builds ready, ladies and gentlemen. We don't know exactly when the competition is going to be held, but we will be announcing that on the website and in the Discord. So get prepared, and we definitely look forward to seeing everyone back in the future for round 2.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Anything you guys would like to add before we take off?
No, get the practice in, and see you in Oman.
There we go. All right. That's it. Thank you guys so much to all the drivers. We appreciate you coming out. Anyone who didn't make it to the top 32, you better be fighting back in round 2, because we will be here. All right. I think that's it for the day. We appreciate you guys watching. Thank you, everyone.